recording? Hi, this is Raymond Staple at DragonBlogger.com, and today we're going to be talking about the ANYTEK ANYTEK camera. And this particular camera is for the inside of your car. Now when you get this, it's not going to be connected like it was there. You're going to have a slot there, and if you look right here, you've got an end piece there, and you simply place them together and slide them into place. Now you're going to want the suction cup towards the front of the lens so that your camera is going to be mounted like this. Now since our windows are angled, you're going to simply place the camera where you want it, and you want to make sure you've got it oriented just right, and then simply pull this lever up. Well, there it goes. It suction cups right into place, and then you can turn this little knob right here on the left hand side to rotate back and forth. And once you've got it at the direction you want there, you can always turn the camera right or left to change the direction of the view. Now right in front of you, it's going to take a picture of not only the stuff directly in front of you, but the lanes to either side as well. Now if you happen to have a car that has a cigarette lighter that does not come on until you turn on the engine, well, that's fine, because that's really what you want, I think. Because then you can leave this camera plugged in at all times, and it will not turn on until the engine comes on. My car, the camera comes on immediately as soon as I plug it in, because I have full power to that connection at all times. But look at the screen here. You notice that there's a red blinking dot there? Immediately upon turning this camera on, it automatically goes into record mode. That's why if you have a car that has a connector that doesn't come on until your engine comes on, you never have to worry about pressing record. Now, we're going to look at a couple of things real quick on the screen. If you look right here, there's a little microphone with a X through it. Let's see, I got to remember which button here. Give me a moment. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. Well, never mind. I'm not going to be able to tell you because I can't remember right now. But you can turn the audio on and off. Oh, I remember why I didn't turn the audio off. The audio is actually on through a menu setting. So let's get back to what I was saying. Take a look at the camera screen. You'll notice that there's a red blinking circle there. That lets you know that the camera is recording right now as we speak. And it is doing so because you've just turned your engine on and your car is ready to go. So now the camera is ready to roll right at the same time. Now while you're recording, you can turn the recording feature off by simply pressing the OK button over here. And then you can go into your menu and you can alter things such as your resolution, your loop recording times, time lapse for recording, whether you want WDR, the wide dynamic range, turned on or off. You can change motion detection, power on and power off. The record audio, that's the one that I have set to off right now. But if you happen to be doing some driving that you want to record the audio, then you can set that on and your audio will be recorded. You can also set the date stamp, and you can set the G sensor. G sensor is what turns on and automatically locks any video that you might be recording at that exact moment so that it doesn't get erased off the SD card when another video loops over it. So like if I'm driving along and I've been driving for an hour and everything's been fine and I'm looping my videos every 5 minutes, okay, fine. Eventually my SD card is going to fill up depending on what size SD card you have, what resolution you have it set for, and whether you have audio turned on or off. With the G sensor set, boom, I get into a wreck. The camera locks that current recording so that it will not get rewritten over if the camera gets full. It gets saved. That's kind of a nice feature. Now, if you're looking at this and you hit the button twice for menu, you'll get into not the first setting, which was for setting up things about the camera's functionality at that particular moment for resolution, things like that, but you'll get into the settings. This is where you can set your date and time. If you're going to be having an accident, it's good to have the correct date and time set up on the camera so that it knows the date and time of that accident. You don't want to say, well, I had the accident on Friday the 15th, but your date and time says it was Saturday the 15th. That's not a good thing. You can also have your plate number on the movie. What that does is allows you to set up so that your license plate number is associated with the video that you're recording. I haven't tried that feature, but it is kind of a nice feature to have on there. That way, anybody knows, okay, this wasn't so-and-so's video from another car. This was the recording from your car at the time of the accident. Time zone settings, you can have the time zone set. You can have auto power off. If this thing has a battery that will last for a particular amount of time, I believe it was 15 minutes after it loses power from the power connection, you can have it automatically turn off or on. Or not off, but on. You have it automatically turn off. Beep sound. That little tiny beep. Listen. You can hear that beep. It's actually not much louder than pressing the button and hearing the click from the button, but you can set the beep. Now, if you happen to be looking at this video before ever trying this, I want to point this out. Look right here at the second icon, okay? There's a little ABC inside of a speech bubble. That is going to be very, very important because when you first turn this camera on, it's in Chinese. All these menu options are in a language that you do not speak if you do not speak Chinese. If you speak Chinese, you're perfectly okay. And I'm not knocking Chinese, I just don't know Chinese. So when I first turned this thing on, I thought it was broken because I didn't know how to speak Chinese. The instructions on how to set this up did not take into account that it was not in a language that I understood to begin with. So when you first turn this thing on, you're going to want to press the menu button, which is this first button, 2 times. Once you do that, scroll down until you find the ABC button. Once you got that, click the 4th button, and you can go through and change to a wide variety of different languages that are available. Okay, including the various Chinese languages that are showing up there. Some of them may be some other native tongue. I don't know what those symbols actually stand for. For me, because I speak English, I set it for English. Once you've set it using your scroll buttons, click that 4th button again to lock in that mode. Now you've got different TV modes. Do you want wide angle? Do you want small screen? If you only have a small screen to display things on, you might want to have it set up for a smaller screen. Do you work with 50 hertz or 60 hertz? If you're in certain countries like England, a lot of them use 50 hertz for their electrical settings. If you don't have it set for the right electrical settings, you can sometimes see scan lines in your video when you're playing it on your TV. So you can set the frequency. In my case, I set it for 60 hertz. Next thing is Screensaver. You can set a Screensaver to come on. What does the Screensaver do? It blanks out the screen on the LCD display after a certain period of time. White balance, exposure, and image rotation. You can mess with those if you need to, but since this camera is already set up through that WDR, that wide dynamic range, it will make those adjustments for you. But if you want to fine-tune them and play with them, you can certainly do that. There is a time when that's going to be necessary, but not right now. Once you've gotten past that, the only other things are format, default settings, and version. Now, if you want to format, you're going to format your SD card. If you have had an automobile accident and you need that recording and you have not transferred it from your SD card to your computer, you will wipe out that recording. So make sure you're very careful and don't mess up when you hit that format button. I almost formatted over videos I'd already taken when I was checking out that feature. Default settings sets it all back up to default. Then version shows you the version of the software and the equipment that's set up. Now, before we go on too much further, I want to point out a couple of things. Power on off button. This is where your micro SD card goes in. There is an illustration there to show you the orientation that you need to have that SD card in before you put it into the camera. The lens is fixed. You do not adjust this. There's no focus. It focuses for you. On this far side is where you have the power connection. Now, I kind of wish the power connection tilted down from this connector, but then thinking about it, I just see a reason why it doesn't. You might have this hooked up to an HDMI connection at the same time. You don't want this covering up that hole. Then there's a little teeny tiny reset button there. You have to have something like a paper clip, a staple, a sewing needle, something like that, that you can press in there. Now, on the bottom, which I'm going to take it off for, there is a little connector here, which seems to be covered up at the moment for hooking up a GPS device. I don't know why it's closed off there. I don't know if that can be punched through. I don't know if that actually opens when you try to put a GPS device in there, but the manufacturers say you can hook up a GPS device to this, and it will put certain GPS information on the screen while you're doing the recordings. Right here is another little teeny tiny button, or hole there, and this particular little hole is the microphone hole. You would think that they need a much bigger hole, but I guess because they know I talk a lot and talk loud, they don't need much, and it is very sensitive to begin with. That's about it. The only other thing to remember is if you're in a car like mine, you want to power it off and let it shut off, unplug, and it will actually save the video at the point that it was at and then carry on. Now, all of those features I just showed you are available when you plug it into a non-computer connection. If you plug this into, well, you can't plug this end in, but if you plug the camera into a computer connection, you get three options. One of them is to use this camera as a webcam. The other one is to take pictures with this. The third one is to transfer video from this camera to your computer. Now, the only other important thing that you need to know is how in the world do I get this off the window? It does appear to be very, very well attached to the window. Simply pull down on this lever, but you notice it's still attached. Why? Because when I put that suction cup up there and pulled that lever up, it actually pulled down and created a suction. But you notice there's a little tab up there. Simply grab hold of that tab and pull, and that allows you to lose the connection. Let me see if you can see this. Look at this center and look at it as it kind of sucks in. See how it creates the suction for you? So by pulling that up, you've actually created the suction. And this thing held very, very well when I tested this. I initially tested this driving from Lubbock, Texas to Amarillo and back, and the entire way there and back it never disconnected from the window. Also, one thing that I found which was very, very good is that the entire drive up there, the car is going like this. You know, we're hitting bumpy roads, we're swerving in and out of traffic, we're going up and down. Normally on a regular camera you would see that kind of wiggle. The entire ride, the camera was like it was still as a stone and just glided right across the road. I didn't see any bumps, I didn't see any jiggles, I didn't see any wiggles. And at the end of this video, I'm going to attach a short, quick little bit of a video of the one of the actual drives that I did, so that you can see the quality of the resolution as we drove. No, it's not beautiful scenery. I live in West Texas. We don't have lots of beautiful scenery. Well, actually, I live more in the Panhandle. Panhandle has nothing of beauty to it as far as driving. No mountains, no forests, no valleys, just flat, plain road going on for miles and miles and miles. But hey, the quality will be there. You'll see just how great this thing recorded. And I think you'll agree with me that this is a wonderful device. Now, I do want to add one little bit here, just while I've got you on video. If you take this and you hook it up to your camera and you set it up to use as a webcam, it's not going to automatically come on. You're going to have some kind of software like Skype or a generic webcam software, but it will allow you to actually use this camera as a webcam. Here's the thing though, like this, the image will be upside down. So if you're trying to look at it like this, it's going to be upside down. Why? This is meant to be hooked up to the window. If you take this camera and turn it upside down, adjust it just so, this now becomes the stand that you could set the camera on your desk so that it will record and it'll be upside right when you're doing it as a webcam on your desk. One thing to remember though is it still has that 170-degree angle for viewing, so you will see yourself in it, you will see the wall next to you, you will see the couch on the other side of the room, and whoever is sitting in it as well, so it will cover a wide range. But if you're using this as like a surveillance camera inside of your office with that motion detection feature turned on, it's going to work just great for that. All right, for DragonBlogger.com, this is Raymond Stapleton, and wish you a great evening and even better tomorrow. Good night and God bless.
What do I click?
You just turn the red button again and turn it off.
Disclaimer. This product was provided to the author to do a review. All opinions are 100% authors and authors alone. For more information, visit bit.ly/dbdisclose. To have your product or brand showcased on Dragon Blogger, visit bit.ly/reviewmyproduct. Thank you for watching.